Forget standard jumps. You have to nail your landing while 60 other players are constantly crashing into you. Platforming in this environment is absolute chaos. You are calculating your leaps across moving seesaws, dodging massive swinging hammers, and diving over tricky gaps at the absolute last millisecond. The physics system makes your momentum feel heavy and unpredictable. You are not just fighting the level design, you are fighting the crowd to grab that ledge. Your depth perception gets tested constantly when dropping onto tiny tiles. Surviving that crowd takes wild luck, but the upcoming title demands flawless cooperative timing just across a simple gap. Your personal jumping skills mean nothing if your partner cannot time their dash perfectly with yours. The platforming mechanics shift in every single level you play. One minute you're swinging from nails hammered into the wall, and the next you're bouncing off a gel pad your friend just placed. You have to constantly communicate your movement intentions. If you jump too early, you fall. If you dash too late, your partner falls. The gravity and air control feel incredibly smooth, making those tight acrobatic maneuvers super satisfying to pull off. Syncing up with a friend is tough, yet waiting just around the corner is a game that brutally punishes a single misplaced pixel. One tiny mistake in your double jump and you are dropping straight into an endless pit. This is pure, unforgiving precision platforming at its absolute peak. You have to chain your spin attacks into slides and then immediately transition into a max distance jump just to reach the next wooden crate. The mask abilities completely twist your movement logic, forcing you to invert gravity in mid-air or phase platforms in and out of existence before your feet touch the ground. Your thumbs will hurt from gripping the controller while trying to stick those incredibly tight landings. Landing those blind jumps is a massive headache, though the next adventure lets you smoothly warp through dimensional rifts without losing your stride. You are literally tearing through the fabric of space to instantly pull platforms right to your feet. The movement speed here is totally relentless. You are hovering across massive metallic gaps, chaining wall runs and grappling onto dimensional tethers, all in one fluid motion. The hardware loads new areas instantly, meaning your platforming momentum never stops for a loading screen. When you dash in midair, the controller feedback lets you feel the exact impact of your boots hitting the steel ramps. You stay constantly airborne by chaining your jumps with the hover boots to clear massive distances. That high-speed sci-fi traversal feels incredible, but what happens when you strip all the tech away and just rely on a rusty shovel? You cannot afford to stand still when every surface is designed to instantly kill you. The vertical platforming speed in this run is absolutely insane. You are dropping through thin floors, rolling past spinning blades, and aggressively wall climbing to escape toxic pools. The controls respond so instantly that you can cancel a jump mid-air and dive straight down into a safer spot. You enter a pure flow state, chaining your ledge grabs with double jumps to navigate massive towers. The fluidity of your movement is the only thing keeping you breathing. Sprinting endlessly keeps the adrenaline pumping, but soon you will face a mountain that tests how well you handle a single, desperate air dash. You get exactly one jump, one dash, and one wall grab to survive the most punishing rooms ever built. The platforming design here is a masterclass in tight, pixel-perfect constraints. You are constantly threading the needle between beds of spikes, using your momentum to launch off moving blocks at the exact right angle. The air control is so incredibly fine-tuned that you can maneuver around tight corners while in free fall. You will die hundreds of times missing a ledge by a fraction of an inch, but the instant respawn drops you right back into the jumping rhythm. Mastering that dash requires insane mental focus, yet you are about to see how beautifully jumping syncs up to a musical beat. Slashing your sword downwards in mid-air is the only way to bounce over these deadly thorns. The platforming mechanics are brutally tight and completely grounded in heavy physics. You jump exactly as high as you hold the button, giving you total control over your vertical spacing. The dedicated platforming sections require you to chain your air dashes with wall slides, clinging to tiny vertical surfaces while massive saw blades spin right next to your character.
you have to perfectly judge the distance of your double jump to clear gaps that look completely impossible at first glance. Those razor-sharp ledges will break your spirit, though the upcoming 3D world gives you plush, spongy surfaces that practically bounce you themselves.
Judging the depth of your jump is everything when the entire world is made of craft materials. The 3D platforming here is incredibly tactile. You can practically feel the give of the cardboard platforms as you land heavily on them. You rely on flutter jumps to extend your airtime, allowing you to carefully adjust your shadow before dropping onto a tiny moving sponge. Grabbing and pulling objects adds a great layer of physical weight to your traversal. The camera angles shift constantly, forcing you to recalibrate your jumping trajectory on the fly. Landing on soft cushions is highly forgiving, which is the exact opposite of the relentless time-bending acrobatics coming up next. You are leaving a ghost of yourself in mid-air just to avoid a lethal drop. This completely evolves the standard 2D jump by injecting heavy time manipulation right into your movement. You are combining wall kicks with a mid-air dash to navigate tight corridors lined entirely with spikes. When a gap is too wide, you lock your position in space, fall down to trigger a moving platform, and instantly snap back to your saved mid-air spot. Your thumb has to execute complex button combos just to get from one ledge to another safely. Manipulating time to stick a landing is mind-bending, yet nothing prepares you for navigating a dense cavern using nothing but animal tools.
You are throwing a glowing disc in mid-air just so you can jump on it and use it as a moving platform. Platforming here is a massive puzzle of spatial awareness. You do not have an innate double jump. Instead, you are using bubbles to float across dark chasms before they pop. You have to understand the physics of your tools to create your own stepping stones. The jumps feel heavy, meaning you cannot easily correct your momentum once you leave a ledge. Every leap requires deliberate calculation rather than pure twitch reflexes. Building your own platforms is totally genius, but sometimes you just want to grab a yo-yo and swing wildly at max speed. If you lose your momentum for even a second, your jump is going to fall completely short. This game is completely obsessed with maintaining kinetic energy. You are using a magical yo-yo to hook onto invisible points, swinging yourself forward to clear massive gaps in the geometry. The trick is chaining your dashes, rolls, and swings together so your feet barely ever touch the solid ground. When you perfectly time your release from a swing into a mid-air dive, the movement feels incredibly smooth and rewarding. It is a pure test of balancing speed against absolute precision. Swinging freely through the air is an absolute rush until you encounter a controller that literally pushes back against your every jump. You can literally feel the texture of the platform you just landed on vibrating straight through your hands. This is pure, joyful platforming, perfectly engineered for the hardware. You are climbing walls as a mechanical monkey, feeling the exact tension of the triggers with every single grab. When you compress a spring suit, the resistance pushes against your finger right before you launch into the air. The basic running and jumping is flawlessly responsive, ensuring you always know exactly where your robotic feet will land. You bounce across glass, metal, and sand, feeling the tactile difference in every single leap. Feeling the ground through your hands is a beautiful gimmick, but what happens when a full-scale universe pushes those jumping mechanics to their absolute limit? Every single jump, hover, and dash is a masterclass in how 3D movement should actually feel. The platforming precision here sets a brand new standard. You are using laser-powered boots to glide over deadly gaps, instantly roasting enemies beneath you while carefully adjusting your landing spot. The game constantly hands you new gadgets that completely alter your trajectory, like dog boosters that rocket you horizontally through glass walls, or frog gloves that let you slingshot across vast canyons. The level geometry is meticulously crafted around your exact jump height and dash length. You never fight the camera, and you never question the controls. It is just you, flawless physics, and the most satisfying platforming flow ever created.